Back where I will defeat them more than 2018 because I am the voice of the Liberian people and the Liberian people love me.
Sometimes it is important to feel in life because then only success will taste sweeter. So failure is the next step to success in the life we live. So do not feel disappointed whenever you fail. People who are successful today failed so many times, and they were able to look back on some of the things they failed on, build on the strength, bear in mind that they have an objective, a purpose, until what they want to achieve can be realized, they will stop and not just being complacent, and they will continue to try because it is good to keep trying until you get what you want. It's on Good Morning Liberia, folks. Good morning and welcome to the Monday's edition of the show. It is great to be here this morning, and it pleases us being back on the show. Too many things to talk about, and we must all work towards the growth and development of Liberia. This is the only country that you can't be deported for no matter what. But let's be positive in our thoughts. We feel Liberia can move forward if we all join collectively in making sure that Liberia gets better. Oh, yes. Good morning, folks. If you're there in my Gibi County, you're listening, welcome to the show. Grand Tabasa, Nima, Riverside, Sino, Maryland. A grand crew like to say good morning, Bapulu, Bombing, Grand Kitmount, Oxorado, wheresoever you are, you're following us from around the country as well. You so special out of the country. This is Voice of Liberia. My name is April and Parker, and we here this morning. Let me welcome my colleague Harris. Good morning, Harris. It's great to be back on the show after a weekend break.
Yeah, good morning, Paco. Good morning to the folks, and good morning to every one of you following us via the Facebook. It feels good to have you follow this program, and yeah, it's good. After the weekend, we are back to continue Labyrinth's people work. So it's always a pleasure being on this platform.
Great. So, those of you following this morning, all you need to do this morning for us is share the live. Yes, that's one of the things we need to do. Share the live, invite somebody to form part of the live this morning, and let us have a great time. Too many things to talk about, and the Voice of Liberia indeed is here for you. So, as usual, just tell us exactly where you're following us from, and we will acknowledge you following this morning. So it pleases us being back. So too many things to talk about this morning. There is this development from Turkey that is not good. About 500 persons have died as a result of earthquake, and like say more than 500 persons have died, and a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hits a certain Torgi last night or early this morning, about 4 and GNT 117. About 500 persons have died so far in Turkey, and there is this fear that the death toll might increase, and it's just near the border of Syria. We'll bring you that particular development coming from Turkey, but it is not too good. Yes, you know this issue about climate change. Every time we talk about climate change, Liberia is of no exception about the effect of climate change around the world. Most of the times, you see Liberia sending representation to some conferences heading on climate change and the rest of it. This thing is really, really important, and it has become disaster to other countries, sophisticated countries. I falling prey to the issue of climate change. In Liberia, we have experts in Liberia, linking this issue of climate change, and they have said that yes, Liberia has started, experiencing the issue of climate change. During the dry season, the time you don't expect for rain to fall, we see rain falling, and that could be one factor to as well on the issue of climate change. So that's the development. It is not too good for Turkey. Yeah, more than 500 persons have died so far when the 7.8 magnitude earthquake hits, you know, certain Torgi. Okay, so there is this development also on the issue of climate change in Liberia. The Swedish government, in collaboration with the Red Cross, they are training community mobilizers in making sure that the issue of climate change in the rural parts of the country, citizens in that part of let's say the rural parts of the country can, know exactly some of the effects, and they will be training people in that area. But we hope to give you the details surrounding that particular development. There is this group, there was this banner that surfaced on the social media. And this, it carries the name Sad Chicks of President Weah. There was this banner that surfaced, and the group head, or the people head in that group said they were misinterpreted, and it was not meant the way in which people saw it, or people portrayed it to be, the way in which it flooded the social media and sending a negative image, a reflection to the presidency that yes, President Weah has side chicks. So they grouping themselves, calling themselves side chicks of President Weah. So the group said they debunked that particular information on the social media. And one of the persons who posted that information is a lady who is vying to be representative of District Number 10, Charisma Penon Red. She posted about that particular information, and people within that particular group, according to them, should have been the doctors of we are instead of the side chicks. So they have debunked that. They saying that it is not a good thing for people who want to seek political office, most especially as a female, to get engaged in such a propaganda. So they pleaded with us in being on the show this morning to clarify that particular misinformation. They want to clarify that particular misinformation. So hopefully at 8:30 they will be let's say 8:15, 8:30 they will be this morning. At 9 o'clock, hopefully we will play host to Dr. Lester Tenning and Gayezon Davids. I hope I got a name. Gayezon Davis, as per what we're saying here. They will be here this morning from 9 a.m. to 10 o'clock. Okay, from 9 a.m. to 10 o'clock, the folks from the CDC will be looking at the post President Weah's nomination. What do Liberians hope to see? All the nomination on Saturday, what message does it send out to opposition figures in our country? And and Dr. Stanning will lead the team this morning as we look deeper into into the nomination process and some of the things surrounding the CDC as a political institution. We will definitely look at that this morning and the rest of it. And Harris, I think I saw so many people going at others because they were able to express their political view, their belief. And one person that was bullied highly is comedian Paul Flomo from activist Martin Colley. We feel like Martin did not do well in that direction. That we can call spade a spade. And also Daniel George were also bullied, and there was this war wars between Daniel George and what is guy name Martin Colley. But I think Harris, you followed that development.
Yeah, I followed that, Paco, and there are a few observations that got on. Number one, we can call for democracy, right? We can continue to preach that we need a free space to exercise our political right, and yet they will go after others for what they choose
Mhm.
or where they want to go. I mean, when I saw Martin going after some other individuals that have made their own name in the space of our country,
Mhm.
that because they support or they wear the barrier or the CDC government or whatever way they choose to go. I mean, I think as an activist, you should stand for what you preach. That's
Mhm.
the version of what I think an activist should be. That in spite of what you stand for, in spite of who you think is the best person to represent the people, you can say that through your advocacy. Now, it left of the citizens to listen to what you're saying or
Mhm.
choose not to. But by you going to extend that because someone chooses to go this way, you want to go after them and tell them, hey, I think you are the person, I think you're the, fairness, Paul Flomo has done much, has contributed in his own way to the development and the sustenance of peace in his country. By virtue of the fact that his role he plays as a comedian, right, it helps a lot. Every day, day after another, there are hundreds of Liberians that go on stress.
Mhm.
Day by day, there are hundreds of Liberians are confronted with several situations. So if his comedies, his video, whatever he does, doesn't suit you, perhaps it suits the next man out there. If it doesn't pleases you, it pleases the next man out there. That's the first thing you must understand. Now, so if he as a human, right, in his own right mind as a Liberian, he's entitled to his political right. He's entitled to whatever he thinks or whatever he feels is best suited for him. He can find space. Everyone will want to enter the political environment where they will find a space that they can free their assembly.
Oh yes.
Today, you see the LPDP, you see the MPP, all of them are complaining because they feel that they're in a political environment where the space is being provided. So everyone will want to enter in a political environment where they feel that their presence will make an impact. They feel
Mhm.
that their presence also means a lot to those that want to represent them.
Oh yes.
So if you want to go against Paul Flomo, like I'm reading through the post, Paul was clear and straight to the point. That if you think that our post or because I declare my support for the CDC and you think that it's not well for you, there are two ways. And this is one of the things, Paco, I always tell people. My social media life, my private page,
Mhm.
right? This is the thing that I tell people. If I post or I say something you think you don't like it, there are either ways. Either you skip or you block me. It's the thing is very simple. Or Facebook has a way where you can click and say you don't want to see this post again, right? And it just
Mhm.
lost on your page. And never will you see that thing appear on your timeline. It's very simple. But because the man posted on his page, you take it to be something. And when the instant if you read it coming from Mountain, I mean, it doesn't present well for a person like him. I mean, oftentimes he has been one of those that have called on government to provide an environment where everyone we preach and stand for what they want. So if you have been preaching such a message, be able to live by that message. So you cannot tell people no matter what. Like I listen to you say Liberians are suffering. Granted, the same Liberians that are suffering are the ones that came out in the hundreds of thousands of numbers. You saw all across the 7 occasions. So it means that the message, the change you are preaching, the message that Liberia needs to be redeemed, hasn't centered down the people. So it means that you haven't done well in your advocacy. That's a fair thing. So you need to continue your advocacy and stop attacking personality. That's not democracy. Democracy doesn't call for you going after individual. You go after what is affecting society.
And you just made a very significant point, Harris. And these people, like the people like Paul Flomo, the people like John Flomo, when Liberia or when Liberians needed a time to be stressed free, these individuals were there. You remember the 2014 Ebola epidemic in Liberia, where Liberians were pressed, where Liberians had lost hope that, hey, as a result of this illness, this disease, where you need not to go in contact with your family members whenever they fall sick, lying on the ground, because you need not to go in contact with them. They flew away from that person. You needed not to touch them because you are going to, once you get in contact with them, you're going to automatically, get that particular disease and the rest of it. So came in Paul Flomo, John Flomo, Samagwan, and the rest of the guys. And they were very instrumental to have made Liberians stay home, not being too much in the streets, and uh, using their time, their energy, investing their little resources into comedy, that today Liberians were able to wholeheartedly accept that yes, you need to stay home, and the issue of state of emergency was around. So they used the people videos and the rest of it to stress free themselves because people were dying too much in the country, and they played a role. Now, the Constitution is very clear about political participation. The Constitution is clear that the issue of who you want to affiliate with, it is your constitutional right as a citizen of Liberia to affiliate with anyone in a political party. And you have the same right to disassociate when you no longer understand the running of that political institution. So in Liberia, on the issue of democracy, no one should be bullied. No one should be criticized for exercising his or her political right. And that particular one did not go down well, with us as realists. And we just have to speak to it. It is not healthy for our democracy. Martin Colley, most of the times you speak against ills in society, and you want for the George Weah government to be changed. Why do you think you're calling for change? And the change you're calling for, who are those you think you speaking on behalf that the change you come? Liberians, according to you. But who do you think will occupy the position? Who are the top political figures you think the George Weah led administration should be changed for? You got Cummings, you got Boaka. Who are they? Is it that you're speaking in their interest that Liberians should be decisive to go to the pool in October of this year to make a change because you feel it is necessary for change? There are other people who got the other view around that, hey, it is not necessary for change because we feel that this government has done well. And you cannot criticize them or go into their personal life because they're associating with the presidency. That we will not take from people, in the public space who are purporting to be change agent in our country.
It happened. It happened. We witnessed that similar situation with Monty. When Lima Bowie issued that open letter to the Unity Party, he came in defense of the Unity Party, and we are seeing from several. I'm saying in terms of our number that his advocacies sometimes tend to protect the Unity Party, right? Sometimes if you follow his advocacy relatively to the political space of our country, you want to believe that he supports the Unity Party, evidenced by the fact that over 2 to 3 separate occasions he had issued, he had come in defense of the Unity Party. That's granted. There are hundreds of Liberians as well that do not subscribe to the politics and agenda of the Unity Party. Has any of them come in defense, come after you to wish insults or to tell you this or that? No, that's not what democracy calls for. So you as a student leader, you as an activist that oftentimes you are spoken against issues affecting the country, there are ways I think you can channel. You can write. Sometimes you can come out and speak to the ways Liberians are governing themselves in the political space of our country. That's fine. But going on the instant of where you want to attack individuals, right? And you want to go into their personal lives and want to say this thing, everyone has their hustle. Paul Flomo decided to do comedy because he feels that he has a talent, he has a gift to do it. So
But
his comedy stuff has nothing to do with
Paul Flomo is not the first
it's-
person or entity to have affiliated with the presidency.
about
You
that.
have Marco S. Davis Solonga Diabo, who did songs for politicians here. And what did the people say back then? So why should you go into the personal life like you say you want to release, rape case file allegedly against Denge and the rest of it, and they had to. But I think Martin has made his name into the space of our country. Yes, in the shortest period of time, he has made his name that we must acknowledge on the issue of credentials check and the rest of it. Yes, he has been very robust in making sure those who are occupying positions with fake credentials come out and they be rebuked in public and the rest of it. That we must acknowledge. But the issue of going at people because they exercise their political right to affiliate with any political institution at a given time, I think it is not good. And I think mounting on the issue of having a say in the governance space of our country, it is always good sometimes to take a break. Though they say you cannot threaten everyone, but sometimes once it is in the right direction, we're going to heal you and we can make you the national hero. Once it is in the right direction, like in the case of your robust fight against those occupying bearing fake credentials and the rest of it. But I think it is not healthy for our democracy as we move on as a country. So like we said, the a huge earthquake in southeast Turkey kills more than 500 people, and a powerful earthquake has hit a wide area in southeastern Turkey near the Syrian border, killing more than 500 people, trapping many others. And according to the U.S. Geological Survey, the 7.8 magnitude struck at 4:17 local time GMT 117 at a depth of 17.9 kilometer, which is 11 miles near a city in the time. And the vice president of Turkey said the death toll in Turkey had now raised into 84 and feared that the death toll might increase. And in Syria, more than 230 people were killed, and state media reported so far. And it is not a good thing, a good sign. At least 2,323 people were injured in Turkey and 639 in Syria. Okay, that's the information there. Too many buildings were destroyed, properties, and the rest of it. A shopping mall that is noted to be one of the biggest in the city was also destroyed as a result of the earthquake in Turkey near the Syrian border. It is not a good sign. Like we said, it's not a good sign for us. Okay, so at 8:15 to 8:30, like we said, we will play host to the group that was branded to be the side chicks of President Weah. The group said instead they are the daughters of Weah. So it is contrary. It is on the contrary to what is being posted on the social media and the rest of the folks. So the president indeed was nominated on Saturday. Harris, you follow that development. The president was nominated uh, on Saturday, and too many people came out. That we must acknowledge. Those of you watching will say thank you, Papi Keita. Is a Tue Desmos Tue. Good morning, watching from Minnesota. Jefferson Tie George Lamandan, Ahmed Hammond from Kakata, the rest of the guys. Thanks for joining us. So, Liberians, seditious supporters of the president, turned out in their numbers, and according to that particular uh, issue or proclamation, they were deciding to put about 1 million people out.
Mhm.
1 million people to reaffirm their support to President Weah. And I'm told about from 7 different points how Liberians or supporters of the president had gathered in those locations to nominate the president in their 1 million bid rally. But this is where we are. We want to go to Nima County this morning. Those of you who've been following this Prince Johnson and President Weah's saga,
Mm.
I'm hopeful that that training will be here 9 o'clock this morning. We will really talk about that as well. And the president made some revelation on yesterday. The president made some revelation on yesterday, which of course we will look at, and we will go in depth when our guests come at 9 o'clock this morning. But I want to go to Ruben. Senator Prince Johnson has said that the people of Nima are being suppressed as a result of President Weah's failure, alleged failure of providing jobs to citizens of Nima after they had an agreement that, hey, when we support you, you will have to give our citizens jobs, ministerial position, directors positions, and the rest of it. So according to Senator Johnson, it was the agreement that they had. I think Harris who started this entire conversation Friday, and we thought that we would have extended today.
Mhm.
But there was a service held on yesterday as well. When President Weah was on the pulpit, the funny and interesting part about it is that President Weah goes to the pulpit, but will the day he certifies, he say, I want to preach today. I don't know whether that preaching he can be doing or why he can be doing. And at the end result, he goes to church, most especially at his Corn church. And the end result, you hear him making statements. Fellow Liberians, anything the president does or say as a result of releasing the statement, either in his personal or like say personal life or the rest of it, it becomes policy statement because he is the president. Hmm? He is the president. And anything he will say at a particular time, it becomes a policy statement. There were too many things that the president said on yesterday when he attended his Sunday service at his church. And Prince Johnson, on the other hand, was in service as well when he said too many different things as well on the issue of the auditors, on the issue of, they say when you hold rope, rope will hold boat. Prince Johnson first said about 150 million United States dollars uh, was in the trend over note that former President Ellen Johnson turned over, and the government denied that they inherited a broken economy. So we said it was belated for Prince Johnson to have come out.
Mhm.
Oh yes, that we cannot manage our words on. It was belated for Prince Johnson to have come out, for Prince Johnson to have said that President Weah is corrupt at this time, or he has failed to provide job to his citizens. We feel it is belated because this is a man who winding down with the president. He took the president to Nigeria when the late prophet, TB Joshua said it was President Weah's time. They have gone to his spiritual father to another President Weah, but then Mr. Weah to become president for this country. So by the time he did not know that this man was corrupt or this man never had time for his citizens, 5 to 6 years he's speaking out. That is not the issue. Here is the issue. The man is saying that he will not support we are. It is your will. Like we said, the Constitution provides that everyone has the right to affiliate with any political institution at a given time. And you also have that right, Harris, to disassociate when you feel that things that you went there for are no longer holding on the note, you got to move. So Prince Johnson said his political party will not support we are. In fact, his political party did not come to being to be backboard to the CDC and the rest of it. So he was telling his officials to dress back. Okay, so you dress back now at the end of the day. But it said that what Senator Johnson said that he is the godfather of Nima is holding. There are contrary views following the nomination of President We are on Saturday in Nima County. Let's go to our man Ruben Gwan. We'll speak with him for 3 minutes. Ruben could tell us for 3 minutes what actually happened in Nima over the weekend. Then we will come back. Some of the things that President We are said on his pulpit on
Yesterday.
yesterday, and some of the things that Prince Johnson said as well. I saw my man Sheikh Mustafa Kuyate.
Man went to worship the Prince Johnson church. It was surprising to me.
The message have come to know the truth. So I don't know when did Kuyate know that.
I don't know if Sheikh has been converted to a Christian. Guys, you know the whole thing. Why you try to bring Ruben on?
Ruben is on. Good morning, Ruben from Nima County. How are you?
Good morning, Parker. Let me say good morning to my friend, Brother Harris, and good morning to you, many listeners on the Voice of Liberia this morning.
We just want you to be precise. Within the next 3 minutes, we want to have conversations surrounding the nomination of Mr. Weah in Nima County over the weekend. Prince Johnson being a godfather of Nima, and in Standing Quarter, we saw a very huge number of is it a President Weah supporter or seditious or citizens of Nima just turning out because they wanted to be part of the entire ceremony? What have you gathered so far from Standing Quarter or Nima County as a whole?
Thanks very much for the connection this morning from Nima. Following the 1 million endorsement in Nima for President George Mano Weah, it will surprise you to see that the Nigerians are in full gear to support President George Mano Weah's second-term bid across Liberia. So the turnout you could see on the Voice of Liberia television speaks volume that Nigerians are in full gear, and it seems to be like they are no longer interested in listening to the county Senator Prince Yomi Johnson. So the number that turn out to support President Weah, we check out there are numbers that most of them supported the MDR political party in 2017, and because of the coalition, the agreement they had to work in collaboration with the CDC government, recently when they broke up with the arrangement, and the buy-in seems to be like in favor of President George Mano Weah because they know what is good for them. But send the endorsement they are bending,
But let's take it bit by bit. It is a bad slide. Owing to the fact that Senator Johnson cannot be underestimated in Nima, or quote unquote being the godfather of a Nima, it speaks volume to as well. Citizens turning out in a very huge or significant number, pledging their support to President Weah. One would say that it is a political gathering, and once Senator Johnson enters the county, that could be placed under control.
Parker, Nigerians are saying, since the senator has too much interest in the senatorial post, they will support, they were voting for at the senatorial level. But for the presidency, he doesn't have, absolute control over the bias from what I'm seeing across Nima recently.
What have you gathered so far from maybe people who don't believe in the manifestos about the CDC having them on board? CDC taking a number from Nima.
Well, many attributed that to the work of the current government, President George Manuel. We are activity across the country. Some pointing at the road construction, the rehabilitation road, the pavement, and the tuition waiver. Like most of the young people, you interact with them, they will tell you, I'm about to get my first degree from Nima University because of President George Manuel. We are free tuition waiver, and there are so many reasons. You see, the Buyers are in full gear to support the third turn of, the second turn of President George Manuel. We are in Nima.
It tells that Mr. Weir has a very huge presence in Nimba. Let's speak to the fact now. There will be people who will have contrary views about the nomination on yesterday. What have you gathered surrounding that particular, thing and the rest of it?
Well, for the nominations, the contrary view so far we have gathered is that people who are spearheading the activities for CDC in Nima, they should be very much careful so that they cannot make the president to lose the number that are in favor to vote him. Because if I say people who are spearheading the party chairman and the mobilization and the rest of the people, the way in which, because after the program pack up, many people were complaining. Similar thing happened recently in Sacre where to get back to their various homes was serious problems. So far,
why were they complaining? Why were they complaining?
The complaint has been those who spearheaded the 1 million endorsement refused to release whatever funds allotted or allocated for the program.
Were they hold on. If you talk about fund allotted for the program, was there any agreement that it turned out for the program and at the end result you will get this?
As usual, if you bring in people and you take them from different destinations for program, and you have to get them going back to their various locations. So for people to get back home, it was major problem in Sanikole. People complain, and as so far the complaint from the 1 million endorsement, to deal with crowd and getting them back home, easy task. That's the complaint so far.
We saw Major Jefferson Koji in Nimba. Is it that you are heading the team in Nimba? Who are those that from like the big people in Nima that attended the program? That yes, indeed, the CDCians also leaders within the CDC can say yes, we have Nima on our control. Evidence by these hurricanes coming on board to turn Nima County over to CDC.
Well, we have electoral district number 9 lawmaker Johnson Weglu, and on the legislative caucus, Johnson is the second main command to Senator Johnson. So he was in attendance. We have district number 2 representative Pre-OS Topa, the man who is also going for, third in the district was in attendance, and we have district number 3 lawmaker Joseph Nyanson who were also in attendance, and with all of hurricanes in the county, like the county superintendent, like the county inspector B. Mark Bluon, and like the current chairman for the party, Regina Mann, the former county inspector for Nima. They were all, there are some hurricanes that people think they can make things happen, and they were all in attendance.
How is you?
No, let's just
okay.
Go. Let's just go.
Okay.
I think he has provided.
Okay, Ruben. Thanks for joining us. We wish you have the best. Just work out and start your day now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. As usual, GB.
GB. Ruben joins us from Nimba. Aris, you listen to Ruben. The message is clear. I tried quizzing Ruben to tell us exactly what.
And part of that report, Parker, that I captured from Ruben is that. He said this is a Nima. They said it came up in that number to send a message to Senator Johnson that when it comes to the central position, we have understood that It's what you want. We're going to give it to you. But on the line of the presidency, we cannot allow you to make determination for us. We cannot allow you to continuously tell us what we should do or what we should be doing. And for that is a clear message, right? We should live in a democratic space where people should understand.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Come again.
Yeah, just fly it there. Okay. Yeah,
I
just
lost what I was saying, but
yeah.
all right, this is it. So we should live in a space where people, you will not be subjected by other people's decision. Your decision should be the one you want. By this time, I want to believe that by this time, every Liberian should understand that who you want to carry, right? Because we have like 8 months to elections. So if you as a citizen by this time you haven't make a determination yet, when we enter the electoral period, whatever decision you make will not reflect your own will.
Okay.
Whatever decision you make now will reflect the way or you will be influenced to make that decision. So, in all fairness, with the situation in Nima, I was shocked. Honestly, I was shocked. I was amazed, especially with the turnout from Nima, not any other country. Given the fact that Senator Johnson has boasted that he holds Nima, and by he withdrawing from the CDC means that CDC has lost its grip in Nima. But the turnout in Sunny Kole was overwhelming. So it presents a situation that the politics in Liberia is not about you sitting and zooming that you have the numbers.
Yeah, sure.
Right? It
That
should
is
go
that is
beyond
very
that. It should be demonstrated. Today, if you want to believe me, if the 1 million rider CDC hosted and the number of persons that come out, you want to call the MDR to go in Nima and come and put out that same number. It's far from reaching. Honestly speaking.
okay. So many you think your man I get his pay.
No, the point time is senator was. I mean,
They get voted.
senator was and they get his term. But and so that's one of the things that Senator Johnson should look at. And now with the division that exists in Nima about this one Nima,
And CDC just doing everything
the
to
guys
the
are
people
working.
stronghold in Lo-Fi again.
Yeah, the guys are working there. They are taking away from opposition. Now it's Green Basel they are targeting.
Yeah.
Right? When the whole Basel, because Bonkan is already divided as we speak. You saw it, even on the day of the 1 million, you have two different groupings that came out, right? Under the same CDC. So it tells you to some extent that the CDC hasn't settled down for Nima. So CDC now, what I want to believe, the guys are targeting the vote rich counties.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
the guys are targeting the vote rich counties. So
You see Lo-Fi,
you see Lo-Fi, you
Nima,
see
Bong,
Nima.
Grand Basso,
the guys are
Magibi,
targeting.
and
So you don't sit and just
most rather they can
just
share
assume
most
that
rather.
Nima Power Print doesn't no way. This who assumes this? The guys need to be very serious.
Okay, folks. So as part of this conversation, having that particular report from Nimba, Rubin was very precise to have reported on the issue. You Liberians listen to him. But prior to this nomination exercise, Senator Johnson had alleged that President Weah or the government, there are people who want to assassinate him. So on yesterday, the president refuted the claim. He described Senator Johnson as a killer and a former rebel leader who killed former President Doe in 1990. And the Liberian chief executive also turned the allegation that somebody wants to kill Prince Johnson as false and misleading. Now, what the man said, he said there was another statement. He said he welcomes the decision of the Nima, county senator to withdraw his support from the coalition, and that he is not afraid of anyone. So the president is acting so brave now, yes, that regardless of your support, I can still win Liberia, evidenced by the turnout on Saturday and by the one reception from the people of Liberia doing his final State of the Nation address. So he feels that the people who turned out on Saturday and the State of the Nation address, the way in which Liberians were impressed, opposition figures held press conferences, and nothing tangibles they were able to say, nothing tangible they were able to say. These are all evidence that yes, indeed, he is not afraid of anyone and he can win. And the president also said that the coalition brought together on board many leaders, right? Brought together, everybody on board, and any leader of the coalition leaving, they also need to leave with their supporters and those that have been given jobs. And if not, they will remove them and get job to others. So, like where Prince Johnson saying that he has withdrawn his support from President Weah, since he's leaving all those from Prince Johnson's party, will have to relinquish, or he will remove them for the position and gave the position to other people who are joining the coalition. How does it sign? It is a clear violation of the code of conduct that the president accepted to give job to people based on political agreements. It is a violation to the code of conduct that must be established. So he admitted that yes, he gave positions to people because of political agreements and the rest of it. So it is saying that the president gave job to people from Prince's party only because there was this political agreement. And now coming that Prince Johnson says that he no longer supports the idea or we are becoming president, and he wants to support his own political institution to the presidency. The president is saying that since they're leaving all those, including Bangura, Wilfred Bangura, who is yeah, who is a supporter or a member who are also suspended from the party and the rest of it, will have to leave the job he's doing. He's one of the GM ministers at the Ministry, I think, gender, right? He's commerce, yes. He's one of the GM ministers there. So, and the rest of the other guys in the position, like they have the LPDP and the MPP, obviously they have to leave the position. How does it sound? How does this statement sound in the ears of Liberians that those who supported the president will have to give way only because their forefathers or people who brought it into that collaboration or coalition want to leave? There is this statement too as well, people who can get to the line, the president made on yesterday. Harris, from the onset, I told you, anything the president says is a policy statement. And for our own area, you don't want to estimate some of the things the president will say at a time. They put the president using that place that is concentrated, in the rest of area, and the rest of it, when you go around the pulpit and the rest of it, you want for people to listen to the word of God, Harris. So it feels better when the president takes the pulpit and then try to tell Liberians, that yes, do not be too greedy, do not be too divisive in your talks. We must all muster the courage to build Liberia. It is about time. The Bible talks about forgiveness. Let us forgive, each other for the benefit of Liberia. We'll think collectively we can build Liberia. It feels better if such a conversation is held. But I listened to the president on yesterday, fellow Liberians, when he said that it is so good that two officials from the all supporters of the president will be here this morning at 9 o'clock. Like we said, Dr. Lester Tenney will be here along with guys, and they will be here, and we will have conversations surrounding that. But again, it is not healthy for the president, sometimes to take the, that whole area and then try to, political lies the entire thing and the rest of it. The president talked about if this 70K Simeon Freeman something. The president said, they lie on the little boy. But this is a case. It undermines, because I think that particular case is already in court.
Yeah.
It undermines the same judiciary system that you preside over, that you can appoint judges. It undermines the independence of the judiciary system of the country. That we cannot hail the president for. That we cannot celebrate the president for undermining, the judiciary system. Like we said, anything the president says becomes a policy statement. So if you talk to the pulpit and then he said the guys are lying on the little boy in a jargon that people start to celebrate him in that particular service, it is now well.
There's no way at all. There's no health thing.
It is now well because that particular case is in court. Then people would make reference to the orators that died, and some years ago when the president released another statement too.
There are a few things, President, we need to learn by this time if he has sinned. One of which is at times, no matter how the situation might be, right? No matter how you want to present a case to get at your audience, want to get at your opposition or the opponent, you need to understand that when you say things, it has a propensity to affect what is ongoing or has a propensity to promote what is ongoing. Now, what do I mean is this? In relations to the Simeon Davis issue, right? You understand that the opposition community is trusting your judiciary system. That's why they had to call on the judiciary system effectively immediately when that situation occurred. Up to press, the opposition community has consistently engaged your judiciary system through your justice minister to ensure that justice prevails in this missing morning saga. Now, fast forward that the criminal has been, the guy in question, Simeon Davis, has been arrested. In police preliminary investigations show that Simeon, to some extent, might be connected with the situation. They took him and forwarded the court for prosecution. Now I'm saying for court, for trial, right?
Yeah, he's been prosecuted. So
yeah, that's good. I'm correct.
Yeah.
He's been prosecuted. While Simeon is facing the legal battle, the president is making a statement that the little boy has done nothing wrong. In fact, people are just lying on his name. Now, that statement, right? It predates the outcome of that entire prosecution.
Yes.
That statement now, how does it imply when the judicial system come out and said Simeon Simeon committed the act, and the president says Simeon did not commit the act. So there is an understanding there that the president might knowing that if Simeon did not commit the act, then who did? Because in life, you're telling someone that none of them to the thing, then it means that to some extent you know who might have done it. Right? So it presents a situation now that same day missing key, that same day key is that the president to some extent understand what went wrong, understand how it played out. So he should be able to be, he should be telling the opposition community that Simeon is not the one involved, but instead this is the person. So the president could do justice as well by helping with the investigation.
But I don't think it is necessary for the president to have spoken to that particular issue.
Definitely, it wasn't. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know to what extent what might have carried. And this is one of the things I wanted to stress out before you talk, Ruben. You see, Liberia, from all what we have done, preacher men upon preacher men, religious leaders, oftentimes when we have a conversation with them, they will tell you that Liberia, to some extent, is cursed. So Liberia, to some extent, 250,000 innocent blood was shed in this country. That blood is over this nation.
Okay.
It need a leader that is willing to transform this country. This is what get to me. You see politicians taking the pulpit, using the church as a way to send out a political message and to get at one another. Isn't that disgusting?
And there was this photo as well. That's what I said at 9 o'clock. The guys will be here. We will go into that as well. There was this photo that surfaced on the Facebook that we saw. Is that security personnel, most especially from the Executive Protection Service, that are believed to be, protecting the president, providing protection for the president, were seen in party t-shirts. It is a clear violation to the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. So it undermines the system that the judiciary system or security protection is legitimate for Liberians to depend on when you have a group of people who are to be serving the public are the ones holding the president or being supporters of the president. I know why really the guys were even thinking this gone Saturday that they were in arm and they have to wear the president's t-shirt, nomination t-shirt. Are you kidding, Harris? So how does it sound for us? What type of confidence do you think the people will have in the system when EPS officer, or let's assume police people and AFL start to wear president, we are TCF moving all around here? What type of confidence do you think the issue of people believing in the process will be, to a larger extent, that Liberians should continue to believe in the process? We think it's a clear violation, not only to the not only to the code of conduct, but again, it violates, and then it presents another picture around that things are not stable like we expect for the judiciary system or the security sector of our country to be protecting the citizens and should not be pledging loyalty to political institutions. We'll go to the telephone line now. We'll take some calls. Yes, we'll take some calls. Yes. We'll take some calls, and then we'll take the guys from the coming up very shortly. No, sometimes the people can, sometimes the people can maintain you. That whole, it is true that, but sometimes there are people, the EPS that was doing Ellen Johnson time that is seeing EPS you got. So you can bring your own unit and the rest of it, but the Executive Protection Service, whenever a president like Ellen Johnson brought about EPS and the EPS team, maybe they have to do some changes and the rest of it. But we'll go to the telephone line. We'll look deep and deeper into that particular conversation at 9 o'clock this morning. 0770 907 907 are the numbers. And you will be live on the Good Morning Liberia on VO 104.1 FM. It's great to be here. We'll have this call on the line, Harris. Let's talk to this person. Good morning. That person is our
0770907 adding numbers. Call us on these numbers, and hey, you have to save in the program this morning. I think we have a caller from the outside.
That person is up. What's happening to the lines? We'll talk to this person. Good morning. Good morning. Let's hear you. This is Parker. Go ahead. Parker and Harris.
Okay, this is Ben calling from the town of Liberia. Yeah, so the issue this morning is that the security system in our country now we're holding a party, unique party ahead of the country. They're based on the situation where now the country are facing difficulties. Then you see, EPS officer, why you're party teacher.
Okay, thank you.
We'll talk to this person. Good morning. Good morning. I'll talk to this one. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm Lauren from IGB County.
Go ahead. What's happening with this?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's hear you. What's your name and where do you join the conversation from?
I'm Robert T. I come from the Foreign Ministry.
Let's hear you, Robert.
My brother is that free. Don't be surprised. Being anytime was here, the time he was launching, we saw EPS uniform, party t-shirt. The time when you for a foreign party t-shirt here. So
So it should be comparison that it happened yesterday.
You don't have to be comparison.
But what you saying now, so you're justifying the action, but do you know that it's a violation to the code of conduct to have people working in government institutions, employees, and the rest of it?
The private security, the personal direct security, you not see police officers wearing party t-shirts.
So you were talking about what is the employees of Ministry of Foreign Affairs wearing party t-shirt?
Yes. That happened here. We saw it.
Okay, so you'll continue to justify. Okay, thank you. Let's talk to this person this morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Go ahead.
Yeah, as I was saying, I'm Lawrence from Maggie County.
Why, Lawrence?
To be precise, to Azon.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
People the issue even though it was one EPA officer and they was to be different even now their party so they was celebrating with their party.
So you should only be loyal to the president.
Yes.
Okay. This person, good morning. I think the guys will have to come in now. We take about 2 calls. Good morning.
Good morning, Sekou. How you guys doing?
Good morning. Let's hear you. This is Parker and Bailey.
Yeah, this is Prince School and I phoned you from Broadville.
Let's go
You
ahead.
see, this country, we need to pray for this country. Liberia is a kind of country that every day you find something when it's wrong, when you guys try to educate and pass the information on radio to some of us who are very much reasonable and understanding, but we don't understand it as it is. And this is the time to start to put those mechanisms in place and to make sure that comes October 10th, there will be smooth movement in this country as it relates to election. But I don't see that forthcoming. And I just want to send my kindest message and advice to the president this morning. There are some things that you don't get on radio just so easy to say. I know there are people around you are telling you, say this or do this so that they will feel hurt. But you're not hurting them. You are living an indelible act, that will stay in the minds of the people. Last day before I hang down, the Liberian people, we are noted for this kind of action. When we are fed up, we don't talk, we sit back. Even if it costs at a day for us to go jump in the boat to ride with the devil, we will ride with that devil. Common example was said in Montserrat. Yeah, so that cry, sorry, she didn't carry the people.
Okay.
Let's start loving each other.
Thank you. Okay, so 9 o'clock we talk to this person.
Oh my word, discussing this one. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Let's hear you quickly. Name my call.
Yeah, my name is Daniel. I'm calling from Abel.
Quickly, Daddy, let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you. You know what I want to say, my brother? Don't be surprised when the president took over this nation. No rules that happen observed by him. Whatsoever rules that are in the book are not being implemented by the government. They decide they have nothing to do. So whatsoever thing that even the government petition, they were running campaign. Why they cannot talk about it? No. And the first people, someone that working in the party, that working, you have to say what's happened. Force us to go for that area that when I go, you lose your job. So what we do?
Were you forced? Are you saying you were coerced to have gone for the nomination process?
Yeah, but I cannot call my department name if I do see against me. So they were forced that they just want to see the whole building empty, security, and then monitoring everybody. For the teacher, the boss man when I get teachers in a way.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us.
I want to tell the opposition that when I be there about our crowd, we were there, but we were there in disguise.
You're working.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's talk to this person. Good morning. My word, it sounds very. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning. Let's hear you.
Hey, John, morning. From Python, Mike.
My Gibby, let's hear you.
Yeah, my brothers, two friends in our civil, they are saying they try to educate the Liberian people for some good just how to live. But for 223, we tell the difference. Other 1 million poor, 2 million poor, we know. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know. This person is this person on WhatsApp. Good morning. Let's hear you.
Good morning. Is this Voice of Liberia?
Yes, certainly. This is Voice of Liberia. Just tell us where do you come from?
This is Josiah calling from Boston, Massachusetts, the USA.
Let's hear you, Josiah. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Let me quickly say, sometimes our brothers justify adding administration, this happened and this did not happen. We elected president, we have to come and change all of these things. So if President Weir will be elected and continue some of these things or the same behavior from the past government, then where are we? Then sometimes we wonder why people usually die in the country and we wonder who killed them. So these are things, these are questions that people ask. Where are we?
Mm-hmm.
If we say people put t-shirt and the other people should come and wear it, then what a change would draw.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for joining us from the US. Thanks for joining us. Okay, our caller there from the US coming up very shortly. We will play host to a group calling themselves the Daughter of We Are Daughters of We Are. There was this information at 9 o'clock. Like we said, we will play host to Dr. Lester Tenney. He comes from, or he supports the region of President We Are, and we will be looking at the stuff. Yeah, how is it to talk to that person and then we'll call it a day.
Good morning. Good
Hello?
morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Quickly, let's say.
This is Preston Drasselman calling from rehab.
Go ahead, Press.
Yeah, you see the issue, the president doing some things that are very, very, very bad. Because the matter of fact that you see whole EPS wearing George Weah t-shirt just to go for that particular rally. It seems to be our security system in the country is not really healthy. Because so you want
People say
to
that the president security, so he should be loyal to the president. They should be loyal to the president at all times. So that's his personal
yes,
security.
yes. And so the president trying to tell us that if any opposition wins, so that means the whole entire EPS should be disqualified.
Okay, thanks for joining us. That's a very good question. So we'll move on now. We got to call it a day on this segment about the cause, and at 9 o'clock, like we said, Dr. Lester Tenney will be here. That will talk more about the nomination. We have discussion surrounding the post President Wia's nomination. Guys on Davis, Dr. Lester Tenney, I now will be here. We got just 17 minutes up to 9. We're going to have this conversation for, like, say, 50 minutes. In 15 minutes time, we'll call it a day on this segment of the show. This is Good Morning Liberia. My name is April Parker. Harris Willie is here as well. Thanks for joining us, those of you watching. Moses Wadube, good morning, watching from India. Thanks for joining us. Setuma George. Okay, we will check our inbox. That person says James Etta Harris. Thanks for joining us. Kojo Furniture Works. Thanks for always following us from Ghana. What's happening? Okay,
Oh
Emmett
my word.
Hammond, George Lamanda, and the rest of the folks, those of you joining us, would like to say welcome. And the rest of it, what's happening to the people? So the guys can come in and we'll have conversation, and then they want to clarify the issue of many will stick to the issue of we can have that conversation in 15 minutes time. They want to clarify on the binder that it's actually on the internet where they have it that they say side chick of President Weah. So they're saying they are not side chick of President Weah. In fact, they are the daughters of Weah. We have one official here that we will talk to this morning. Let's exactly hear them what they have to say this morning. At 9 o'clock, we'll call it a day on that particular segment to join our guest at 9 o'clock. We'll be talking more about the post nomination. We are post nomination conversation.
Well, how
And
to
yeah,
get? I mean, where are they?
I think you gotta help me now. For me, I don't understand. Yeah, yeah. So in 15 minutes time,
Yeah,
we
we have to tell them because they should understand as well. Ah,
okay. What's it? So we yeah. So
yeah,
let's
I'm very
no, don't bother yourself.
It's okay.
Yeah, don't bother yourself. Don't bother yourself. Okay, don't bother yourself. We take more calls up to uh, 9 o'clock. Yes, 9 o'clock. We call it a day. And one of the things we're saying for the safety of our country, it is not about defending the presidency at all time. Like we said, the issue of the president coming in defense or saying some things on the a case that is actually before the judiciary system that the guys are looking to it. I think the man is already in jail. That statement should not be defended. The president should not be applauded for for that particular statement on yesterday, because we feel that at this time, uh, uh, at this time of the space of that particular case, many Liberians feel that that particular system could be undermined, and it shouldn't be happening. There are too many things that we will definitely look at when the guys come at uh, uh, at 9 o'clock this morning. So Harris, I think we'll take a break. We'll take a break this morning.
Oh, yeah, we'll go for this break. Let me get. I love to listen to this most often.
Let take let
Uh,
So we'll take a break, fellow Liberians. This is Good Morning Liberia. Uh, 30 minutes. The time will be 9. I think our guest seems not to be so ready. So because of that, we we will actually flip it over instead of hosting them now. So we'll flip it over. Our guest seems not to be ready because and the rest of it. So we'll go to tell us here to take a break.
Fast and affordable internet? Telecel Liberia is here to provide all your internet service needs. The internet is moving at a fast pace, and only super fast internet speed can help you keep up. At Telecel, our internet packages are divided into distinct categories: Mega, Optimal, Premium, Elite, and Big Business that suits kids, universities, schools, hotels, beaches, homes, offices, urban areas, and much more. Anything is possible with Telecel Liberia. Get your own streaming box for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Showmax, and more. At Telecel, our amazing 24-hour customer service is there to help you with all your needs. Telecel Liberia, super fast speed, 24 hours technical support team, the best broadband and fiber optic internet service in Liberia. For more information, please call 0770-399-399 or 0881-399-399, or stop by our office on 3rd Street, Syncor, opposite the Carter Center and GLZ building. Visit our website, telecelliberia.com. Email us at info@telecelliberia.com. Telecel Liberia, the best internet service provider, is here for you. Telecel Liberia, connecting the unconnected.
I want to flex my love. I want to flex.
We live in a continent where legislators are measured by the number of funerals that they attend, where the efficacy of legislators is measured by the number of weddings they attend, where their significance is measured by the number of men and women that they support on the day of their wedding. And therefore, we live in a continent where the legislator is misunderstood. We live in a continent where legislators are not told and expected to perform their traditional function. We were told then that you, honorable members of the House of Representatives, represented us. We were told then that you are our servants. And for a long time, we believed that you are our servants. But over the years, things did change, and we started believing that you are no longer our servants, and that you had become our masters, and that therefore, even when you claim to represent us in many African countries, and you remind us that you are our servants, we do not believe you, because it is the newspapers that are left to say what you say. The question that you must ask yourself, and this is a personal question, now that you have been given the honor and privilege of serving Nigeria, Now that Nigerians and Africans refer you as honorable members, the question is, are you honorable members or horrible members? Because the question as to whether you are honorable is determined by the service that you render to the people. Now that Nigerians have given you the opportunity to think for them, to imagine for them, when it is reported in the Green Chamber magazine and we talk of Nigeria as being a great country, the question is, and we will be asking you, are you midwives for the good things of Nigeria? Are you midwives that deliver bouncing baby boys and girls? Or you are midwives that kill the children in the cradle? Nigerians will be asking those painful questions.
Okay, so it's on Good Morning Liberia, and that is just a teaser to lawmakers in Africa and the rest of it, and I was so key interest
Yeah,
into that.
that is just a reality. When you listen to him, that the efficiency of lawmakers is measured in the number of funerals, wedding that they attend, and that simply
The
implies
efficiency,
the efficiency. How efficient, how
how
effective
effective they
the eye is measured in the number of weddings, the support, the number of funeral services, they attend. And that's just real because if you want to argue, let's put it in a librarian setting, right? You have a whole year period. You have an executive making more laws than even the legislature that should be making laws. So it presents that people, I don't know, but the situation is just that's why you see the presidency will continue to behave the way they behave because
the lawmakers
you have a
are.
space where the guys are even afraid to speak truth to power.
Mhm,
So they present themselves in a place that everything a president will do, the Baba, whether it's right or wrong, it means nothing to them.
You saw the
That's why
drama
that's why he said
during the
that's why he said
presidents.
that's why he said the lawmakers were meant to be servants, but now they are our master, and we are the ones serving them. They should be serving us. And from one place to another, you see these things play out, and they will continue to be this way because even we ourselves as citizens haven't taken up the authority to say this is how we want our country to be run. Our voices, what we have, is our strength. Be able to tell the lawmakers, tell whosoever that this is the kind of Liberia we want. How we have also be heard is by actions, right? We don't engage in violence. We engage constructively. 2023 is right next. I mean, if the change we want in Liberia, the change we need in Liberia will be demonstrated in the ballot box. Before the ballot box. The kind of leader we need, the kind of leader we're going to vote for, will be demonstrated in the ballot box. And it determines the Liberia ahead. So everyone needs to understand that you vote for the right leader, the right things happen. You vote for the wrong leader, the wrong things happen. You vote for a lawless leader, the lawless thing will happen. The society becomes lawless. You vote for a leader that doesn't respect democracy. Obviously, democracy will be disrespected. You vote for a leader that does not prioritize women empowerment. Women will be subjected to abject poverty in this country. You vote for a leader that does not value education. The education system will go worse than the way we are. You vote for a leader where he feels and finds pleasure in traveling abroad for treatment. The health sector will remain underfunded. So 2023 is right here. It's a test of time. It presents for me. I always see election period as a time where we build our country. We want to live in. So a country with the way we build our country is what we're going to live in. Let's take this teaser again, right here.
Ought not to exist on the face of the earth. It ought to have received the treatment of Sodom and Gomorrah. But the only beauty in Kenya is that God has found 50 people. That is the only reason why God still preserve this country. But his patience is running out. Our cup of iniquity is getting filled by the day. And we do not know it. How is it getting filled by the day? On a daily basis, we are becoming a country where greed is celebrated. We give men and women opportunity to serve, and they steal from us. We give men and women the opportunity to preside over our health services. They acquire expired drugs, and women die, and children die. We are accusing Adolf Hitler of Holocaust. That is Holocaust of another kind. We are giving men and women the opportunity to preside over our transport department. They take the money, compromise the quality of our roads, and men and women die on those roads. And then we say that that is not genocide. It is genocide. And those men claim to be Christians. We give men and women the opportunity to preside over our counties. And our nurses are on strike for 1 month. And our doctors are on strike for 1 month. And not the president, not the opposition leader, not any member of parliament talks about it. And we celebrate them because of our ethnicity. You, the Kikuyu, say, Modoa Nyuba. You, the Luo, say, Oduadu. And you, the Kamba, say, Osa Vinyamukamba. How can a country run that? How can a country run that? And we claim to be Christians, and we are so corrupt. We are destroying the next generation. That is why James, in the book that was read in chapter 5, verses 1 to 8, tells and warns them that you oppressors, the gold and silver that you have acquired shall corrode. All these things that you have acquired that make you feel important, it is nothing. The great Alexander the Great, who had conquered half the known world before the birth of Christ, at his deathbed, instructed the doctors, prepare a coffin with his hands outstretched, that it may be.
Okay, this is on Good Morning Liberia. People are 104.1, and our guest is in the studio this morning. We're going to look at the pro the WEAS nomination process, and we're going to have a conversation surrounding that particular nomination on Saturday over the weekend. And the rest of it, we have Dr. Lester Tang, and we'll be looking basically on the post WEAS nomination conversation this morning. The rest of it, and we have that attending in our studio. Good morning and welcome to Positive Liberia.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Well, bless God, it's nice having you. How are you? And health, wise, and the rest of it.
Oh, okay. We are doing well. Um, Trying to manage over 15,000 students in a business college at the University of Liberia, where I'm the dean.
You could properly introduce yourself. I like the way you began the entire thing.
Oh, okay. So I'm Professor Dr. Lester Tenney, uh, the current dean of the A. Romeo Halton College of Business and Public Administration at the University of Liberia. I am a macroeconomist by profession, a publisher and major academic journal, publisher of 2 academic books, and a stalwart of the Congress for Democratic Change, Coalition for Democratic Change. I believe in the pro agenda for prosperity and development. I believe in the vision of President George Weah. Uh, I believe that his mandate should be extended, giving his Herculean intervention in all sectors of the Liberian society. Uh, and I believe that the Liberian people's decision to overwhelmingly assemble on the various streets corner in Monrovia testified to the fact that they have implicit and explicit confidence in his leadership.
What runs to mind if the name Dr. Turning is heard on national conversation, linking politics and the rest of it?
So many people think Dr. Tini is controversial. Uh, it is not that I'm controversial. I'm a principled minded person. Uh, I believe that what is patriotic for this country should be undertaken. Uh, I believe that diversity of opinions in an institution is healthy. I believe that the only way we can build vibrant institution is to cross-pollinate views, dissect views, uh, criticize some of the ills as a way of adjusting to some of our agenda. So it is not that I'm controversial. I mean well for my institution. I believe that it is a mass-based political institution that will remain here for a very long time. So it is important that we all germinate a seed that will ensure its continual growth on the political landscape in this country.
Okay, so we're going to cross over. We have Davis in our studio. I think is it Guys on Davis? He who properly introduced himself. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Liberia on VOL. You can dress the mic closer to you. Yes, yes.
Yeah, good morning to the listening audience. Good morning to our host, and good morning to Dr. Lester Tenney. I'm happy to share this platform with him. My name is Gaizon Abad Davis, and I'm the National Vice Chair for Inter-Party Affairs of the CDC Revolutionary National Youth.
Okay, so we have two
Yeah,
strong people from
two
CDC.
persons from the CDC. But Parker, quickly before we move further, there's this one question I needed to ask, say, Dr. Tini. You as an educator, and most often your direct involvement with national politics, people at times tend to understand that you might have influence on the students you head, because what I want to say, my professor is part of this political affiliation. I want to go there so I can get favor from you. For this reason and several other reasons, sometimes you educators, when you are involved in the politics, it tend to be misunderstood in the public.
So at the level of the university, we train our students to conduct independent thinking. We present all of the various theories. We expose them to all of the different arguments. We allow them to independently think for themselves so as to make decisions. Yeah, there's a thin line that divide my professional life from my political life. However, I am not a person who make mistake. So I'm a role model, and I believe that the decision I make to follow a political institution should be followed by all patriotic young people. So yes, my presence also have a serious impact in their decision making process, and I believe that they following my line of political thinking is in the right direction because my line of political thinking is not a wrong line.
Have you have a case where they maybe came over and they wanting to direct them? Like you said, sometimes it has a positive direction, like the way you've chosen.
So I teach economics at the master's level and a senior course at the undergraduate level. I allow them to present their own argument. My role is to present an argument and convince them on the reason why my argument is valid and not to debunk their argument or discount the argument. That is
That would
where,
be because of your political belief. It will have an influence on the process.
well, especially at a graduate level where you have a first degree, it means that you have consolidated yourself in academia
Okay.
to an extent that you have an appreciable knowledge. So when I present my case and I ask you of a divergent case where we synthesize different views, you will see that my argument is more weighted based on the argument I present. And of course, the direction I would take will obviously make you to follow because you see the logic. I'm not presenting to you anything contrary to what you don't know. I'm presenting to you what you have on the ground currently. So, for example, one of the ways we conduct our lecture is through benchmarking. Benchmarking is where you compare current and previous. So, if we say George Weah is good, it has to be measured against something else. If we say George Weah is bad, it has to be measured against something else. That's benchmarking. So if I choose George Weah as my candidate, it must be on the basis of a comparison between he and something else or another regime. And this is where we present our case that look, these are the different interventions in this short period of time compared to the nearest past, which was the nearest 12 years ago. So when we present our case and you juxtapose our case with the immediate past, you will build up your own impression.
Probably that particular case you setting will be good in the for example where you have maybe two groups. You say okay, you go this one, contrary to you declaring your intention publicly that people know you to be this person supporting President we are, other than maybe just defending an issue where you have to do that for the sake of the class.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
I'm so particular about your direct influence over the.
So at the graduate level, we
Mm.
do what we call case study.
Mhm.
Case study is one of the innovative way of teaching, is one of the innovative way of the cross pollination of ideas. So case study is looking at specific. You look at this institution, you look at this company, and see what makes it flourishing. Look at the company, what led it to bankruptcy. So in the case of my classes, for example,
Mhm.
we do case study of regimes. We want to understand the social, political, economic impact of a regime on an economy, for
Okay.
example.
Mhm.
And we allow you to choose a regime of your choice and you compare it with what you have based on the information you have. And then you present your argument. And you will see that in all of the cases, the current regime stand up to its tax. You will see that this current regime has an edge over all of the previous, with the exception of Samuel Doe. And the reason why Samuel Doe has an exception is because some of the data during his period are absent. So when you compare all of the regime and the municipal regime before George Weah was Madame Salif, all the other regime
And
was
that
very
should be for a
backward.
holistic process when
thinking-
Dr. Tenney is now wearing his political garment.
So I'm a patriot,
Okay.
and I must exercise patriotism in every sphere of my life. My role is to not remote and guard people, but to present an argument of validity, an argument that will strengthen the decision they will make to follow a particular political candidate, like in the case of Josh Weah. So we do not indoctrinate. We present the case. We present the argument. We allow you to see the picture for yourself because you are an eyewitness to the Herculean intervention that is currently ongoing in this country. You currently live here, you are an eyewitness. Unlike those who live in the diaspora who receive secondary information, you are on the ground. You are seeing the visible intervention on roads. You are seeing visible intervention on electricity. You are seeing visible intervention in the way of life of the people. You can see the happiness of the people. We are not saying that there are no challenges, no. But the people impression about the current intervention resonate that there is a better tomorrow. And that is why they have asked themselves and told themselves that they want to be part of that story tomorrow.
My colleague wanted to come. We will definitely dive into that.
Yeah, before the vice chair Parker we turn over to, there is this one thing might be in the minds of Liberians that the lecture that Lester Teddy, the rest of the others at the university that is directly involved in the national politics, precisely siding with the ruling establishment. One ought to understand that oftentimes you see the student community at the university, they are protesting against the current administration. Now, having the likes of Dr. Lester Tenney and the rest of the others who are also part of the ruling establishment, perhaps they are on a mission at the university to calm these students that, hey, the action taken oftentimes going against government, protesting against government, this is not the right way. So one may want to understand that your role specifically with the CDC government at the university is that you're on a mission to this, to uh, 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 let's say to dissatisfied at the minds of
But this view once more, what we say.
thank you, disabuse the minds of the student community there that protesting against administration is not the way forward.
So this buttress the argument I presented earlier that we do not indoctrinate, we present our case. The fact that students can still protest while a Dr. Tenney is the dean suggests that Dr. Tenney does not regulate, does not influence, does not control their thinking. However, we allow them to exercise their franchise because of their independence. And it is our role and duty as administrator who belong to the political hegemony to present your case because we from the CDC do not force people to follow us. People willingly follow us. So we allow you your independence. You can follow us, you can leave. You can leave at your own will, like in the case of the MDR.
Which of course we will get to, but I think the way in which the conversation started, so we decided to actually play around that. But basically, we here this morning, we want to look out. We asked nomination over the weekend, like Saturday, May. The turnout, the size, and the expectations from those within the CDC. Let's look at you as a supporter of this regime, looking at the turnout on Saturday.
So seditions not too long ago had some little issues with the governance of the state. Uh, 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 and you saw that manifesting in all sort of people beating CDC in this country, all kind of people. But seditionists are patriotic people. They are loyal people. They believe in their institution. They believe in the grassroots nature of the institution. They themselves have decided that, look, we do not have an alternative in this country. We do not have an option. If we gamble the fate of all of these various interventions to novices or to those who ruled this country and polished this country for 12 years, those who were sleeping while this country was being polished for 12 years, if we gamble, all of our intervention will lie in ruin. So they themselves are convinced. We didn't rally the conscience of the people. No, they are convinced that they must come back home, thanks to the unifying spirit of the new National Executive Committee of the party. Molu, Koji, all of these young people, they went back to their constituency because this is the stronghold of the Congress for Democratic Change. They didn't go to appeal to them. They went there to tell them that, look, you need to come back home because all of these beautiful intervention must end, must be completed. And only us can showcase our level of intervention. The party will take the glory. The government itself has a limited period, but the party remains permanent. President Weah has 12 years maximum. The party has eternity to exist. So it is us. Our legacy is at stake. Our legacy is at stake. While it is true that we are carrying the standard bearer, President Weah, but what is fundamental is that we are building a political institution that will remain vibrant, more powerful, and more robust, so that tomorrow, generation unborn will remember this party as the party that laid a true foundation for the development of Liberia. So we're building political institution and not political hegemony.
The turnout, we will definitely get to guys on the turnout on Saturday. Does it in any way indicate that we are is a force to reckon with in 2023 October?
As a matter of fact, had it not been for the swift intervention of the party, we stopped some of our sales from other areas to from coming. The city would have been totally locked down, coming from Pinsville all the way to Broadway. We stopped some of our members to celebrate in those various vicinities. This is the overwhelming appreciation of the masses of our people towards President Weah. And don't forget, they were not only seditions. There are those who do not align to any political institution. They decided to rally around the president for continuity. So it was not a CDC rally, it was a Liberian people's rally, testifying to the fact that President Weah has done more, and his current intervention suggests that more can be done if they give him the second mandate.
Let's get to Guys. You followed that event, the trade-off event on Saturday. What do you think? Why do you think the trend, as per the numbers we saw, should be a boost to we are ahead of the issue of the re-election? When we witnessed a similar case in 2020 when you were beaten flat to Senator Dillon.
Let me begin by saying we didn't come here to do any competitive analysis in terms of size of crowd. CDC, as a party since its foundation, has always demonstrated numerical strength. We've never fallen short of that, so we didn't come to do competitive analysis about numbers.
But that could be a case study that you put out a good number in 2020, but you were flawed.
We have always done that. What we've come here to, the purpose to do is we have come in humility to appreciate our people who voluntarily, that Tenny said, due to the interventions that have been made, providing grants for farmers for 60,000 of them proposed in units building markets for our market women across the country, paying wash fees, free tuition policy at all state university, and many other interventions that have been made in terms of health, the 40 military hospital, the 100-bedroom Army hospital. These are things that the president has done within just under 6 years, and our people, the Liberian people in general, not sedition, saw it befitting to come out in their hundreds of thousands, not only in Montserrat County. No, this was done simultaneously across 7 regions of the country. It was the entire country, not only Montserrat. You have convergence in Vonjaman Lofa County, you have convergence in Bangabon County, you have convergence of thousands in San Nima County, you have the Southeast region converging in Zweki Green County, you have rural sales and Grand Baza converging in Buchanan City, you have the Western region, Baporu, Bomi, and Kema converging in Grand Kema County. And we have a terrorist taking place simultaneously across these 7 regions with mammoth convergence of Liberian citizens, not only citizens, to appreciate what the president has done. So we've come with immediately to say thank you to the Liberian people who have seen it befitting to give the president a second-term mandate because he has started a good way.
This is not the first time. That's why we asked for the CDC to pull out such a number.
Of course, it has always been done by the
and that's what I said. It happened in 2020.
But Parker, this is the thing now. The politics in Liberia now is graduating from the number of persons who pull out again. I mean, to some extent, upon this, we no longer want to look at the number because today, if you want to believe me, when the Unity Party decided to put a number, they put a similar number, right? You will see Monrovia or
no political party has done that.
Will come up.
Why we did inside no political party has done that, and no political party in the country has the capacity to do that.
And that's
no political party has the capacity to do that.
Of course.
Okay, this is
convert thousands in these 7 locations. All of the counties were involved in this process.
I don't want us to do an argument on that because
to do number
that's what I'm saying. So this is the thing. The president released a State of the Nation address on Monday, a few days after all of the opposition community, different political parties criticized and sent a lot of message to Liberians and rest of it and said, so they outlined several factors to think that the government have failed. Fast forward on Saturday, we saw such a number. I mean, so what I understand, where is the CDC is building on such a momentum from? I mean, what's the strength of the CDC lies that we continue to see, despite the criticism, despite what the opposition said against your political institution, you continue to to present a case that
The score of the CC is that our people are understanding. We had challenges in 2020, 2019, 2018. In the last 2 to 3 years, those challenges have been conquered. The president has done much, the government has achieved a lot. So our people are understanding. They gave us listening ears. Like that was then we said when to them we engage them, they appeal to their consciences. They say, okay, we understand that in the first 2 to 3 years of our regime, there were challenges. We conquered those challenges. We've made some significant progress in terms of development agenda. So they have seen reason to reconsider their thought as was done in 2019 and 2020 to give Judge we are second term. So that's the reason they came out in the numbers. Somebody say you peak right, do we have to
that would go on
that's the citizen have the capacity to do that. All the thousands of people that are converting.
you are told that 10,000 were given to each lawmaker to
you are from the ruling establishment. You got money now, my man. Don't say CDC can do that.
Of course, our people print that t-shirt in 2005, you expect them to print t-shirt in 2017.
Yeah, because you're in government now. So.
Of course.
But
in government, we have our
partisans,
our ministers, our assistant ministers, they get full. They pay dues to the party. So obviously, if our partisans were printing their own t-shirt in 2005, we not allow them to print a t-shirt in 2023. It's disingenuous to them to allow them to continue to print their own t-shirt. So we have the capacity, financial wise, because we have due pay members of our party and the economic status of some of our partisans has increased, so they can afford it contribute towards the party. So obviously, we have some money available. The partisans contribute towards be reminded that 2 months ago the CDC had a dollar rally and we generated nearly close to 1 million United States dollars.
But I'm quite interested.
So they take a cent from government
in this conversation. That attorney, the Saturday event, what does it signify to the opposition bloc? Do you think, as per the people you put out on Saturday, like you said, people have reconsidered and they think that the CDC is the way forward? Do you still believe that the opposition bloc can still come out and maybe put out similar number, or people can turn to the opposition bloc? What does it signify and during the Saturday's event to opposition community in Liberia?
So, I'll tell you this much. Political arrangement is such that it has to be people's driven.
Okay.
It is not doctrine, it is not dogma that impress underdeveloped people. It is action. What testifies to our success is the work we continue to do for our people. In the past 12 years, prior to 2018, you have 4 hospitals being built in 12 years. In the last 5.5 years, you have 8 near completion hospitals and 2 fully completed hospitals. 8 near completed hospital in the southeast and 2 totally finished, 1 ultra modern. Ultra modern means it is contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
We have sent 19 medical doctors for specialist training, 19 out of Liberia, 19. In the past 12 years, 0 was sent out. 0 was sent out. So we are not only building hospitals, we are capacitating those hospitals with specialists. For over 172 years, 173 years of our existence, Liberia never had a trauma unit. In the last 5.5 years, the first ever trauma unit in this country was dedicated by George Weah at the JFK Medical Center, a modern trauma unit. A modern trauma unit. Trauma unit is a specialized unit that treats emergency cases. We have today under this administration the first dedicated trauma unit. Over the years, our students were burdened with the load of WIAC and WAS fees. And those burdens shifted on their parents, who were impoverished because of the current political status at that time. Today, over 40,000 students and families are being relieved of that burden. And that is what giving rise to the huge success rate in WIAC and WAS exam. For the first time in this country, Liberia students have exceeded more than any other student in the sub-region during WIAC and WAS. Why is it so? It is because students are now focused in their studies instead of worrying about payment of their fees. And this could only be because of the magnanimity of President Weah. In this country, no public school student pays school fees. No public school student pays school fees. This gives rise to the higher enrollment and unprecedented enrollment. Currently, you have the next academic semester, more than 9,000 new entrants will be entering the University of Liberia. President Weah, through his own initiative to ensure our students get better facility, has committed to providing a conducive learning environment. Currently, the AB complex at Finda is under renovation, thanks to the government of Liberia under George Weah. That place was abandoned since the war. We have 780,000 individuals having access to electricity. That's 130,000 households in the last 5.5 years. The cost of kilowatt of electricity has reduced by over 60%.
You think
So I'm
they
giving
are
you the
all
numbers.
indicators? Do you think they are all indicators that yes, the president has done well, and then giving rise to what we saw in 2017 when you saw millions of Liberians back in 2005 supporting the CDC government? That yes, 2020 was just, according to you, a mistake. The Liberians have decided, or CDCs have decided to go back home to vote the president for second term.
So let me follow expand on what I'm saying. Why our numbers keep increasing? Because people are happier. Why are they happier? Because they are living longer. Liberians now currently live over 64 years as compared to 56 years under the previous administration. This means that if and this debunk the argument that if the people are suffering, they will be dying sooner. Why our life expectancy continue to increase under President Weah? If the illusion that this country is so high, people will be dying quicker. That's common sense. But people are living longer because they have better access to nutrition, they have better income, and I'll get to the issue of income.
Go ahead.
No, why are you laughing?
No, go ahead. You said income will come there. We got a conversation surrounding that.
Let me start the conversation around income. Previously, nurses, for example, were earning 8,000 Liberian dollars under administration of Ellen Johnson for 8 years. Currently, no nurse earned below $125. No nurse, public nurse in this country, earned below $125 US. Previously, there were some ministers earning 25,000 US dollars a month. There were some managing directors earning 25,000 US dollars a month. Under this administration, no minister, no matter how close you are to the president, earn more than $7,000. More than 7,000. That is a law. No minister earn more than $7,000. In the past, the base of the civil service salary accumulated to between $60 to $45. Currently, no civil servant earn below $100. No civil servant. The cleaner at the University of Liberia that work in my office earn $160. The cleaner. The janitor.
The president he talked about that in his Harris wanted to come in.
He pinpointed some of the areas that he has been informed, and It is because they are still trying to populate and migrate to upgrade the salary. He
For the
didn't
past,
say
for the past 5 years, the issue of Silver 7 has been swept under the carpet. You brought about harmonization.
This is few of the
and
things, Sparkle.
officials, top officials, Harris coming. Top
So,
officials.
so this is the thing. If you outline all of the achievements of the government now, another group will counter you to point out few of what the thing that the president has failed of, which he shouldn't be re-elected. Now, this is it. This is a president that took over and they showed the Liberian business community as a whole that they're going to have a space where they feel the impact of why they had to elect him. Today, if you have a conversation with the Liberia Business Association, they will tell you the case has become worse than the way it went. I mean, the last time I held a conversation with the Liberia Business Association president on the same very platform, of which, if you may be aware, they will be petitioning the president on tomorrow.
Repeat yourself.
They will be petitioning the president on tomorrow so that he should cater to the Liberian Business Association, the Liberian business community as a whole. Today, if you have a conversation with the folks, those that oppose the president, then I will tell you, for instance, the civil servant you want to speak of. I mean, over 15,000 civil servants make below the minimum wage of $100. The president admitted to that. Today, the Civil Servant Association has continuously engaged the government over the past 5 years to address that situation. Not until, because we're in election
time, someone will say that the president wants to satisfy the quest.
And part of that statement also present that even lawmakers start to disagree with the president when he said 6 million is what needed to be infused in the budget to cater to the 15,000 civil servants, of which many are saying that that money is not what is needed. If you want to amend the salary of over 15,000 civil servants to reach the decent work out of $150 minimum. I mean, different factors will play out. So if you want to say Liberians are not suffering, you want to tie that, I mean, you will have that arguments.
So let me address the issue of the minimum wage. The minimum wage is a bill from the national legislature. That bill has been in the national legislature for the past 8-9 years or so. The bill implies that the minimum wage for the lowest earner in this country should be $150. And that bill was based on an inflation figure they derived. But how can the executive implement a bill that has not been passed? So all of the intervention of the president must be consistent with the law, because he is so oath to uphold and protect the Constitution. He cannot be the one to violate the Constitution. Don't forget, we have 3 branches of government operating separately but having co-equal strength. So 10,000, that is 20% of the civil servant workforce, because the current civil servant workforce is 60,000. 10% is just 20%. So 80% of our civil servants earn above the minimum wage. 80%. If what you are looking at to be 10%, that
you could make reference to the decent work out of 2015.
I'm giving you the figure now. So the 10,000 you're referring to is just 20% of that number. And the president was requesting to the national legislature to see the need to hasten the passage of that bill so that the last 10% batch will be elevated above the minimum wage. So you see, the president himself recognizes the fact that we still have 10,000 of our people below the minimum wage, even though 80% of our workforce is above the minimum wage, but we also need to cater to the lower base of the pyramid.
That was not done since 2017 going forward.
But the president does not make law.
The president presents lots of bills. You follow the legislature.
So the minimum wage bill has not been passed. It is not the executive.
I said the president don't make law.
Yes,
more bills can be made from the executive than the legislature for the past 5 years.
So those bills that came from the executive to the legislature must go through a process.
But why you think the president couldn't be instrumental to have lifted?
But the president cannot lift the bill. The president cannot lift it because civil service salary are by law.
But was he the president instrumental in the harmonization process?
But that
by law.
50,000
have your pay increase, the humanization process.
That people are still complaining. So you guys still complaining in this country. So then why are they complaining?
9,000 will have decrease to be in terms of standardized. The standardized procedure.
Why brought about the decrease?
Decrease.
Yeah.
You
the salary.
Well, I want for 15,000 person have an increase comparing that to 9,000 person have a decrease because it's equal work for equal pay. If you are a director to Ministry X, I'm a director of Ministry Y, we should earn it. We have the same qualification, we should earn similar salary. On the previous administration, that was not the case. So this harmonization process addressed that, and 9,000 person had a decrease, and 15,000 person had an increase.
So the concept of harmonization, the concept of harmonization has been wrongly misapplied, has been wrongly misunderstood. Harmonization is actually wage adjustment and not wage decrement. It was a way after recognizing the disparity that exists in the government civil servant arrangement. The Ministry of Finance decided to, after recognizing the disparity that you, from the Ministry of Finance as director, you may earn $5,000. This other director from general will earn $1,500 with the same portfolio, the same title, but disparities. So it was the Minister of Finance who identified the flaw and tried to adjust the wage based on performance, qualification, and scope of work. So harmonization was not an attempt to decrease salary, it was an attempt to adjust salary, thus uplifting more than 15,000 people who were deprived of their just income, and addressing and adjusting 9,000 people whose income were just given to them based on discretionary motive. My man, my man, sit down here. HRL, give them 5,000. Those are the 9,000 that are complaining that their salary were reduced, but it was not that their salary were reduced, their salary were adjusted.
What is the impact this issue of harmonization has on the ordinary people?
Oh, yeah, it has improved livelihood. It has increased happiness.
What are the indicators?
People are living longer.
Harmonization.
But if you are suffering, you will die soon.
Let's
But if you dying, if you're hungry, you will die soon. People are earning better.
There are people complaining. Let's be real to the conversation.
In every society, there are people complaining. In every country, people complain.
Are being affected from this quote unquote harmonization exercise.
My brother,
ordinary citizens.
In every country, there are challenges. In every society, there will be some complaints. But we look at the generality of the benefits more. When we juxtapose benefit against complaint, we always notice and observe that benefits outweigh, exceed complaint. There is no perfect society. There is no utopic society, right? We are approaching a stage of economic development. After a sustained economic growth will come economic development. Economic development is where the generality of the well-being of our people will be manifested in their express way of life. People will be able to afford, the ordinary janitor will be able to purchase a vehicle based on the salary they earn and the savings they have accumulated over time. People will be able to build their own homes. Currently, you have more housing being built, not by the government, but by individuals. More people are building now than ever before. Why? Because most of the income earned in this country are not repatriated outside of this.
There are people who are involved in personal businesses. You start
so you see the enabling environment we have created.
Who are investing.
So it's all the enabling environment we have created.
No, but there
are people who got personal investment, so you cannot restrict that to government and so there are people who, if you're talking about building, there are people who provide environment for that. No. There are people who, you're talking about infrastructure, right? There are people who are involved into other businesses outside of the country. There are people who live in America and have investment. In Liberia, they got buildings.
So
in
it
Liberia,
simply,
so should that
it
be
simply
restricted
means
to
that
government achievement?
it simply means that people have confidence in the system to an extent.
No, it was
that
a statement you made.
I'm giving you the reason why there are more buildings, because there is explicit confidence in the system, the current system.
That
people
I
are
cannot easily
willing,
bad
but
that the lives of the people are improving.
why would
On this,
I will tell you,
yes,
I will give you an example. Why people in the diaspora could not build during the 90s, during the days of the war, because of the broken down of system. Now
have you had a time to get outside of Monserrato, visit the Lee-War counties, and have a conversation with the locals there?
Oh yes, I often travel in the rural counties. Yes.
What have you been telling you?
They are happy more than ever before. For the first time in most of their lives, they are witness to see roads going to their towns, to their villages. In most of the hinterland, people who were born after the 90s are now seeing electricity. Go to Tool Town, go to the remote part of Grand Gila, go to Maryland, where in some of our areas in Monserrato are not electrified. They are enjoying 24-hour electricity. And electricity brought in this country through the instrumentality of Josh Weah, initiated by Ellen Yes, because all she did was present blueprints, but who actualized, who implemented
that
all
you
of
must
those
give us some
blueprints.
credit too.
No, I mean, blueprint is the basis for which we're looking at. Every government is continuity. We recognize her blueprints. We follow the details of the blueprint, but we have transformed the blueprint into actual feedback. We can see the light.
Let's look at some of the promises made by the president.
90% of the promises have been fulfilled.
Many people think
based on our record.
Some of these I think you want to make reference to numbers report.
That Dr. Tenny is an educator, and you want to believe that research plays a lot. And relative to NAMUD recent report released.
NAMUD, what is NAMUD?
The NAMUD Partners for Democracy and Development. NAMUD, I think, is a country name, right? But the previous name is NAMUD Partners for Democratic Development. Eddie Jawulo's NAMUD
on the President's
Society organization in Liberia that is well known. I mean, in Liberia, I'm surprised when he asked what is NAMUD?
Referring to the report that is owning the president.
The president's meter. Thank you very much. It says in that report that the president made 292 promises, ranging from 2017 during the campaign period up to his address in 2018.
For prosperity and development.
You want to go to the county tour. All of them sum up to 200.
We get the names of the promises.
But you haven't read the report.
But disappointingly, in that report says only 24 of the 292 promises has been implemented by the president as we speak. And they went on to do justice and outline those 24 promises that the president implemented.
Let me check it there. They did not go on to do justice. They define what they call the limitation of the president. And they outline only 24 of the 200 and something. So the question we must ask ourselves, right? Dr. Temi is, for example, a member of the Unity Party. He has an organization that is civil-based, grassroots. How they call it, civil organization, right? And I want to critique the government. Do you expect a Dr. Temi, who is allegedly a member of an opposition political party, to grade the current establishment better?
So, what are you saying?
So, research. One of the unique characteristics of research is the unbiased nature. Research must be professionally done based on prescribed methodology set up.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, first of all, you must understand the orientation of the author of that paper.
Okay.
You must understand his affiliation.
In short, he has some political affiliation.
Everyone will have political, but you must understand from whence he speaks.
Meaning the report is not credible, that attorney.
So if someone says, President, we have made 292 promises and only 4, do you expect in your own right mind that such a report is credible?
There are indicators that you can debate the report. How many of you from the CDC have said that the report is not credible?
The reason
you saw
that someone like me,
endorsing the report.
You don't expect someone like me to just take any garbage to read.
Is that why you turned the report?
Because if it is not credible, it is termed as garbage.
I'll tell you why. Maybe you are the one seeing the not credible.
So why are the four? Why are the four things you need? What are the four sources?
The four projects when you talk about wire fees? You made mention of wire fees.
So out of 292, you only talking about
24 projects. I think 90 plus in Sony, and you got about 77 that haven't been completed. 77% haven't been completed.
You know, it is so interesting that he's able to know how many promises were made.
Don't you think that often
I'm an educator, right? I'm an educator, right? I teach research methodology. So when a research work is put out, two places are looked at. What is the problem being identified? What is the method being used to identify to solve the problem? If you come out and tell me that President we have made 292 promises and that only 20, you know how many were fulfilled?
24.
Only 24 were fulfilled.
This is it.
And you expect me
as a team. Yeah, guys, go ahead.
About people who believe.
So these
we are getting promised Nemo.
Guys,
we are promising like people.
Guys, this is why you're going to agree on Saturday. This is why you're going to agree on every government functions, significantly.
But these promises you talk about are all being listed. Yeah, you talk about the payment awards.
Who determined the promises have been fulfilled?
No, but they track the president's.
How are they tracking?
They follow the president. Can you dispute the fact that there was no reduction of salaries for public offices on officials on the executive branch of government? Can that be debated?
So the reduction, you should understand the context.
Okay.
You should understand the context. One, whose salary were reduced? Those who made extraordinarily unimaginable salaries were those affected. So if you were earning $25,000 monthly and your salary was reduced to $5,000, do you think that you will speak positively of anything on harmonization? No. Why?
Because
it's been captured. So that's what I'm saying. Who are the recipient of the reduction?
No, but you don't want to agree that the president made some promises or Nemo record is legitimate or
I don't even know. The fact that I don't even know Nemo, so just like doesn't even know credible.
Namo says 202 promises in president.
I don't know Namo. Something wrong with that.
Because you see, the greatest asking you.
And the 24 president, said 292 promises the president made.
They said 292.
I'm coming out of the 292. Let me make my thought. Out of 292, Namo says the president implemented 24. Now, the 24 promises, and he wants today, if he have a conversation with every citizen, they will point to now. This is the payment of wise fee. You want to look at the road division of the John F. Kennedy. You want to look at the passage of the as the reduction of salary. The pavement of Doe community and other feeder roads, the construction of the new town. You want to come down to all of what today you have a conversation with the construction of the Emirates Hospital. The expansion of the construction of feeder roads. Get to that part. All of what they said the president promised the people, and he did. So right. So 24 out of 292 promises.
Did they base the 292 promises there?
Obviously, the ones who
but you have to listen. You are not doing justice. You are but you are not doing justice. If there is a report coming on your institution,
you want to discredit such an institution.
No, wait. I discredit the report.
Yeah, you discredit the report.
Let me.
No, listen now. That different people are not going around tracking promises made by president. That's why you have an independent institution that is tracking.
the program was made for fair direct effect to people.
Also,
That's
so,
the reason. That's what I'm
so
saying.
we shouldn't have
That's
the
what the
institution
president
that
said.
tracks the
This
president.
particular report was supported by this particular report to gather this report was supported by the Swedish government, OCY, UN Women Democracy International.
They wasted donor funding.
Why
I'll
you
tell you
think?
why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Right?
You are not doing justice to the conversation.
Let me provide clarity on why the report is a trash. Right? President Weah goes to do community and say, "I will pave the road." Namo capture it as a promise. He goes to rehab and say, "I will pave this community road." Nambo captures it as a promise, right? He goes to different county and promise several different things. But in Nambo's report, all of the different promises are now aggregated as one. He intervened on feeder roads. Meanwhile, he has promised more than 50 different feeder roads and he has completed maybe 48 different feeder roads. But Namo say he completed feeder road 1. But in there, this aggregation of the promise, they did aggregate it into row by row. You have 233 kilometers of asphalt road completed in different parts of this country, not just one part, in different parts of this country. 133 rigid paved roads, community paved roads, completed in different parts of this country, 845 kilometers of secondary roads, currently 98% completed in different parts of this country. The near completion of the Sanklepie Road. So when NAMO come with a report that accumulate all of the road as one, and then de-aggregate all of the road into several different components, then you say such a report should be accepted. I just want example. He goes to different communities and say, look, the days of playing football on the sand will always be a thing of the past. I will give you a multi-recreation facility. That's a promise. It is categorized as promise number something under NAMO's arrangement. He goes to,
and that's why. That's why
I want to tell you the flaw. That's why they got a space within the report. When promises are ongoing, they are being indicated, and they will tell you say ongoing. Once it is completed, they will report to the.
How can you tell me that I
what I want to disagree with
the problem with the report is that one is aggregated and one is disaggregated.
Don't you think? Let's just move forward. There is no time. We got to get to the
but this is the thing. My only comment is that if folks within the cities who have used such a report, right, you need in depth and get an order if NAMO says 100 or more promises from the president hasn't started yet, then you understand what is, what do they mean?
What do you think?
Right. When they say, I haven't started at all. But if you don't want to sit on such a platform, then this kind of entire report that you have read, I mean,
so it's like telling me,
that's one NAMO report to know what they are saying.
You are now telling me to
government has an agenda. Government knows what has achieved, what he has not achieved.
It's part of the fact.
It serves as a reminder. It serves as a reminder.
It's like you telling me that we need to understand our history, and you should read the history written by A. Doris Banks Herring, the one that all of us read when we were in the primary during our days.
What is your point? We got to
and then you have gathered education to some of the highest level, and somebody refer to a portion that Matilda Nipo we should maintain a Matilda Nipo's holiday because she put something fire in the kennel and did something, right? And that's a reference point. Then you're expecting an education.
How can that be restricted to what we say?
So the history written by A. Doris Banks Herring is 40. It has been discarded, and it is no longer consumable for any thinking person. It is an analogy to tell me that read something written by a group called NAMO that aggregated all of the promises and chose to aggregate.
You were going to celebrate the
performance.
report if the
If
NAMO
the-
has said that you complete 100%.
Then they have done justice to the report.
Let's go to the
Next person is right there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Quickly, let's say you.
Thank you. Good morning, Dachan, and good morning to the people of the bureau. This is activist Martin Render, and I don't join the conversation.
Martin, quickly, we have so many calls.
Yeah, and I joined the conversation this morning for CEO. However, let me say, pull up to your CEO there, honestly. You share a lot. But there's one thing that believe in my mind. You are stated likely. The number report is a well-accepted national and international report. When the number report captures you, it says to me that in fact that report is valid and our international partner takes hold from that report. You cannot say that in fact the number report is a well-valid report when you are aware of all of the prevailing circumstances and appointed promises they made by our government has not been adhered to, including the body people.
Okay. Let's leave you. 0770-907-907. At the numbers we have Dr. Lester Tanning. He comes from the CDC. Basically, we're looking at the issue of the CDC, and Gyson Davis, also from the youth wing of the CDC as well. We'll take your calls. This person online too. Good morning. Let's hear you. What's your name? 30 seconds. 30 seconds. We gotta take more calls. 30 seconds. Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
You can be doing that to us. Let's hear you.
Yeah, that's why I call you over.
Yeah, go ahead. Your name.
Yeah, I'm Aaron calling from Machari.
Aaron, let's hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about the number report. So the daily observer report also on the government performance or promises. I think it was on the 24th of December. I think it was on Monday or something like that report.
What's the point?
They did a catalog of the development.
I think that was an editorial, right?
Yeah. So if you look there, you see the disparity between the NAMO report. So you discredit the NAMO report because these are people who went into the editorial and get a vivid picture of what has happened in the country over the last 5 years. As compared to NAMO, they said 200 promises. So where they got that promises from?
But I think that's why it is necessary that you read the report and counter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's say.
This is Lloyd D. Johnson, Citizen by Loyalty, and I joined the foundation number 11 Quebec community.
Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you. You know, you asked the studio girl the question about. You said that we follow or CDC follow crowd. They go to the election, but yet they say that we won the election. Great. Man said I'm on petition. I put that zero. But even though I was disappointed by him, but I put that zero for the reason. And then you talk about the lie. My editing make it simple. My edition small life from me. Small life will come from me tomorrow, and big life will come from another person tomorrow. So my edit plan is small life, and Joe we are exposing all the big life.
At the numbers we have to go. So I think we will call it there on the segment of the calls. Those of you calling, you can just hold on. You listen to I think the people are still calling, but we just have to move on. But let's squeeze this person in. Good morning.
Sorry. Good morning.
I think you called earlier, right?
Yeah. I'm talking.
Huh?
Document is
you got 30 seconds.
Yeah. You know, actually, let me just comment quickly because of time. When it comes to qualification in the West cases, this current organization is lack on saying that it is fighting. Someone has a master, someone has a PhD, somebody is out of high school. Just because the people have the same job title, all of them got on the same salary. Why have you left the person qualification for which is for years?
Okay, so you're still talking about the harmonization, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to Dr. Trini and Davis guys on for the parting comment. We got to take the news at thin. I think it's
on the
thin.
car,
Yeah.
So, what transpired on Saturday was just a prelude of what will happen in the next couple of months.
Still hopeful that the CDC
We are in the electoral
can
process.
reclaim Liberia
It's not. We are not focused on the victory. Our job is not about the victory.
There are
The
people
victory
saying it's
is
a
a thing of the
one-round
past.
victory.
Yeah,
possible
exactly.
can happen?
So you see, because of the confidence we have, we're not focused. Currently, what the government is doing now is pre-planning the next 6 years agenda, because the
So
victory
you're
is
talking
a
about
fait
that proper
accompli.
agenda now?
The victory is the continuation of the proper
But you
agenda.
say you're playing for another 6 years.
Yeah, of course, there are other items. Most of
You're talking about agriculture.
agriculture.
Agricultural productivity in Liberia. We haven't seen anything.
Before the end of the year, we reduce the importation of rice by 40%. Before this year end, before the end of this year, we reduce the importation of rice by 40%.
We will.
We will increase our export by 80%. By 80% in the areas of mining.
I hope to see
And we
that.
transform most of our raw material into small scale industry.
in less than 8 months.
I'm talking about before December, because
but we have
the infrastructure
election
will be
October.
built. Why are you forgetting election? The election is just an event. We have completed the electoral
So you're
process.
hopeful? You hope
We are not
that you vote-
hopeful. We have won.
You are what?
We have won.
Okay.
How can you see that campaign? Don't campaign.
Let's get those.
Thank you. Let me end by saying we've come in immediately to appreciate that people who show up in the hundreds of thousands at 7 different locations. First of all, kind in our border politics. We appreciate the president's achievement in the last 5 or 6 years. We are on course. Dr. Teddy said these are precursor of what will be unfolding in the next couple of months. We are currently focusing on the voter registration exercise.
Okay,
mobilizing our business, rallying our people who have been registered. The president has been nominated. It is his constitutional right and choice to nominate his running mate. That will be done very soon. Come again?
Are you returning the vote all policy?
We say vote on vote.
2017, your party.
You got a lawmaker.
Of course.
Those who haven't done well
we
will
are
also be.
We are party. We are party. When the party carries,
It was nice having
when
you
the party carries
guys
you
on.
investigate. It's all different with partisans.
Dr. Lester Tini and guys on Davis, they've been here sharing breakfast with us on the issue of we asked nomination on Saturday. Join us on Wednesday. We'll be here again with another interesting conversation. Until then, my name is Abraham Parker. Harris waiting for our end. We say goodbye. Thanks to all of our viewers for following. We wish you all of the best. It has been a wonderful time having a conversation. We are not at you following this morning. Today, the news is up next, coming up very shortly.
104.1 Voice of Liberia. Your power station.